Creativity, to me, solves for what the unconscious mind really needs and wants to express. It's a way to express things that you're thinking, whether it's sadness, happiness, longing for someone. You can channel your creativity to express those thoughts and kind of bring them to reality. Creativity has really given me courage personally, and it has allowed me a freedom to kind of escape from the confines of everyday life. Brush Studios is more than just these four walls. It really is an ideal. It's a way for people to connect regardless of their race, social status, economic status. It really is a common language for all to express their creativity. After many years in business, I started to realize that creativity is really critical to my well-being. And so a light bulb went off and there Brush was born. I had the idea to kind of test the concept. So I started with a mobile studio. And then that presented additional problems, and I realized I needed to open my own space to kind of explore this idea further. I made the decision to go ahead and open my own studio. And once I did that, I realized that I had to evolve and explore other parts of my person, not just the business side, but also my creativity, to really create the experience that I wanted customers to have. And once I got into the studio and created my own studio, it was a whole vibe. I mean, we had, music, people could really see themselves, and everything was flowing, like an entire vibe. So the business was growing exponentially. I mean, day by day, I was trying to figure out ways to expand, and the customers were just coming my way. And so I really was at the height of the business thus far when the pandemic hit. And just like that, it all came down to a crash.
More states reaching breaking points as a coronavirus pandemic hits new highs. The U.S. reported more than 100,000 daily cases for the last 10 days.
And before I knew it, I was faced with what many other businesses have been faced with, and that is a complete stop of their business. So even though my business stopped with the pandemic, the responsibilities didn't stop. I'm still a mom, I'm still a wife, I'm still a business owner, and the business that I've invested so much in, the bills were still coming as well. So I had to figure out a way to pivot, and I had to figure out a way to save this business.
Almost 100,000 small businesses permanently closed since the pandemic. That's according to Yelp. And unlike in the spring, there is no help in sight from taxpayers through Congress.
So after many days on the floor, just like really complete devastation in terms of the abrupt change in my business, I had to make a big decision. And that's when I decided to do something really crazy and try to take in-person paint classes to a virtual experience.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You said make X's, right?
Yeah. What you doing? You doing stars?
Well, I put them through the middle.
You put them in the middle.
No, the X and then
Yeah.
through the middle.
The asterisk.
The
Oh,
little,
no, that's fine. That's fine. The asterisk works too.
all right. That's
Some
that
of mine are.
teacher,
Some of them are.
little teacher in me.
Now the transition wasn't easy. I had to dig deep and actually evolve in other ways. So I had to evolve my business practices, like the registration process, how people sign up, how the customers engage with us. And I also had to evolve personally as an artist. Now I had customers showing up to virtual classes that may have been stressed, isolated, in the same situation that I was in, not knowing what's going on with the world. And I had to provide solutions and learn how to teach and engage with them in a different way. Are we celebrating anything special this evening?
Yes, we are.
Do tell, do tell.
Brenda's Swag Foundation.
Awesome.
Yeah, the Swag Foundation is the Sean Moss Wellets and Brooke Foundation, founded for my oldest son that was shot and killed in 2014. So I set up a foundation in his honor with the vision of building an academy soon. So
Wonderful.
Heather graciously offered to do this fundraiser, so going toward the foundation, and I'm excited to have everyone on here. Yay!
Good.
So as I did these classes, the business started to grow. The next thing you know, I have dozens of people taking these virtual classes, and I realized something. It's not just about the fun art and having a good time. These classes are actually therapeutic. I was presented with another challenge, which is, am I virtual? Am I in person? My studio had turned into a shipping and distribution center. It was so crowded with packing and shipping materials and supplies that you couldn't even take a class in my studio. So I had to make another huge decision, and that's whether or not I want to stay virtual or I want to invest in pulling my studio back together. Brush 3.0 loading. We've been closed for over a year. So we redesigned the studio, and I spent a lot of time thinking about what really matters and what would create an experience that would encourage people to be creative, to evolve, and to look within themselves. So that's when the New Brush Studios was born. We invested in so many things during the scariest time ever because there is no guarantee that we were even going to be back in person. So we did things like redesigned the floors. We added new aromas to the studio. We added new lighting. We added new ways for people to shop, hand-painted bags and hats and earrings. And I even evolved as an artist and decided to create a fine art line. So we have fine art as well. So things like surround sound and French easels so people could have more space. There's just so many details that we put into this studio, and I put my heart and soul into it so that folks know that they can have creativity and that can align with luxury, and they really can express themselves in a myriad of ways. So really, ultimately, this studio is a reflection of the inner work that I've done, and I encourage others to do the inner work and really take a step out in faith and evolve when needed in order to make sure they kind of expand their creativity and get where they need to be in life. I'm Vernicia Respris, and I'm the owner of Brush Studios.